Hello and welcome to the DIDIOTS podcast, episode 19, System Accountability. And holy
Woo!
fucking shit, it's an issue.
Yeah.
Cause like it's simple things. Um, it's literally like, um, even in a Discord server that we're in, we have a rule: no littles in the gen chat. Does anyone listen to that? And we have to time people out? Yes. Like,
Right.
there's so many littles in the gen chat, and we're like, stop it.
It's like not everybody can handle talking to a child.
Especially in our system, because there are some people that are like, ew, children. But it's a whole fucking thing.
And I know, oh god, I just every time I think about system accountability, I think about this one time I saw something from I think it was an endogenic server, of
Oh
course.
Jesus.
Where it's like system accountability will not be a thing here. And it's like that's you're enabling abuse. You're enabling abuse when you do that. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, because they could just be like, it was my altar. It wasn't me.
Like
We get it. You
a
had this
lot of the time
argument.
and a lot of the time people again, like people that fake having DID will try to say that, oh, it was an altar that did it to try and get out of stuff. That's not how it works.
No.
That's not I
Like,
you can't just say, oh, an altar did it, so I don't have to. Like it was still your body. You're all in the same body. You have
yeah.
to take accountability for what the body does.
Because even in a court of law, they will be like, okay, we're gonna send you to this psych ward instead of a prison.
Mm-hmm.
You're still punished
Yeah.
because it's you that did it,
Yeah.
whether it was you or not.
And like the thing that like systems need to understand is that even the persecutor altars, even the altars who you think they're like, oh, so bad and evil in me, they're still a part of you, of you as a whole.
Like,
And
yes, we
like
can acknowledge they are
no
separate people,
single
but
part, no single part is capable of doing something that the person as a whole is not capable of doing. If I don't know if I said that right, but
it makes sense. So like, if the person as a whole, like, if your morality as a system as a whole, um, is like, you will not unalive a person, but this one
mm-hmm.
altar is like, I want to, and but the entire other of the system will be like, no. But sometimes there's no communication. We've had situations where an altar was trying to SH or do something worse than that to us, um, and we couldn't communicate with them, but we still had to deal with the aftermath of that.
Yeah,
We had to apologize to our family for him yelling at them because it was still us.
yeah,
We had to deal with the repercussions of what he did because it was still us.
yeah. Like another thing is we're still there are a lot of systems in the world, but there's far more singlets. We're living in a world where people are going to view the individual body
As one person,
as one person.
whether you have
And you
multiple
have
people
to,
inside or not.
yeah, and like, it's like you have to, like, even if you're someone who, like, is living open and out about being a system and stuff like that, you still have to realize that
You're in
you're
one
all in the
place.
same body.
You are all in the same place.
You're all occupying the same vessel.
Um,
Like actions have consequences, and turns
all I
out, guess
heard,
what? If you're in a system, that's just one of the things you have to fucking deal with is that your actions have consequences for alters other than yourself.
all I heard from the back of that space was like, "Your actions have consequences." I can't. But they do. Your actions have consequences.
And you are affected by the actions of the other alters in your system.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's why it's important for systems to communicate with each other to make sure that they're, again, it's why we have kind of like, we as a system have like a singlet persona
Well, a lot of people
that we
do.
all know how to upkeep. A lot of systems do.
Yeah, it's like a mask or a shell or one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I really like this. I really like the term singlet zona.
yeah, I use that sometimes. But it's like, just, it's not hard to keep
Mm-hmm.
tabs on people in the system. If
Yeah.
you, especially once you have communication, it's not hard to know what people are doing. Like once you have communication, you can just be aware enough, but not be in the front.
Mm-hmm.
And like for systems with low amnesia or no amnesia, there's just not a fucking excuse because you know what they did. If you don't know what they did, that's a whole other story. But you still have
Mm-hmm.
to take accountability for it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's wild that people are just like, that wasn't me.
It's like, that wasn't me, so I shouldn't have to deal with the consequences of it. It's like, no, guess what? Tough luck. Too bad. You do.
And it's like, it's as small as keeping littles in the littles chat. It's as little as
Mm-hmm.
that, but it's as big as, you know, it can be as big as your alter tries to harm you or someone else. And you
And
have
you
to
have
take
to
accountability for
apologize for
that.
that. You have to be like,
You
I'm
have
sorry
to
that.
deal with the repercussions of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible. Like, it's, I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to, like, demonize the disorder.
Yeah. Not to say, yeah. It's like,
And people are like, because people are like, well, then, but if you use your, say, okay, well, it wasn't me, but I'm sorry for what they did, and I want to, like, make up for that and do other things. People can, I don't want people to, like, see that, and people have said that that's using your disorder as an excuse, and I'm just like, that's not what this is.
yeah.
System accountability is not using your disorder as an excuse. System accountability is not being just like it was because of the DID.
Yeah. No. You
You have to
can.
explain a little bit more. You have to give a little nuance. You can't just be like it was the DID. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You can't just.
That's
You
using
can't.
your disorder as an excuse.
Yeah. When you use it, you can say, oh, yeah, this happened because, and like explaining that this happened because of another alter, and we're still taking accountability for it. And that's fine to explain. But if you use that as a, this happened because of another alter and we're not taking accountability for it, that's a red flag. That's a no.
Yeah, it's a no for me, dog. Um, but it's literally as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
But you see it like I don't know why they make it out into media when there's only been one serial killer with DID and he was punished accordingly. Um, no, I had his name and I forgot it. It was the one that had the Netflix documentary.
Billy Mulligan, I
Yeah,
think.
Billy Milligan. Billy Milligan.
No, Milligan.
Yeah, Billy Milligan. He's the only like confirmed serial killer to have DID, and but like media, still runs with the trope, and but like even in the media they get prosecuted, and get put into the like I
Yeah,
don't know
they
how to
still
like
have to like.
phrase it. They're still like
They're still held
criminal
accountable for.
settings. They're still criminal settings, but it's a psych criminal setting,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just a jail.
Yeah.
But they're still in a criminal prosecution, criminal court of law, shit like that.
Yeah.
It's not just
It's not just, oh, I can get
yeah,
away with anything because I can blame it on my alters.
right. Like you
Again, that's
can't
why
just
that's a reason that I know that some people do fake this disorder is because
they think they can get away with
they
anything.
think that they can just get away with doing anything because they can blame it on their alters. That's not how it works.
Nope.
You can't just say, oh, my alter did it, so it wasn't me. I oh and
It's really
so
frustrating.
frustrating.
It is really frustrating. Um, because like when you're taking system accountability and other people aren't, it's just like, what's the fucking point?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're just like doing shit to get away with shit and being manipulative and all this other shit, and it's just like it makes it feel like an uphill battle because they're ruining it for everybody else. Like if you don't take system accountability, you are ruining it for everybody else.
Yeah. Another thing I would also say is that if a system is trying to, take system accountability, and then you respond with, "Oh no, it was okay. I understand that another alt." Like, you should let systems take accountability for their actions. You don't have to excuse. Like, you don't have to. If you're upset at a system because one alter did something, that is valid. That is okay. You shouldn't ever feel guilted into like being like, oh no, it was okay, I understand another alter did it. Like, let systems take accountability.
And I mean, you can still bring it up with the one alter that did it. That might be the
Yeah.
better solution. Then, like sometimes it's the better solution, sometimes it's not. But like sometimes letting the system handle it is the right decision. So it's up to the system what's the best decision here, and sometimes it's taking system accountability. Sometimes it's some people directly confronting the one alter that did it, and letting the system be, because they didn't do it, but it still affects them.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a ripple effect, right? So you drop a pebble in a pond and it creates the ripples throughout like the whole pond. It One alter does something and it ripples to everyone else in the system, like
Yeah.
to the littles, to the people farthest dormant. Everybody, but it reflects all of you.
Yeah.
It's like when you're on a team and they say like what you do reflects this team, so take individual accountability. You're on a team together,
Yeah.
and so you have to act like you're on a team together.
Yeah. That's kind of the biggest thing about um like having, at least for our system, one of the biggest things that has helped us in working together is, that understanding of, we're all, whether we like it or not, we're all in the same goddamn body.
Right.
And so we might as well
Whether or
get
not you
along and
like
work
it.
together, whether or not we like each other, whether or not we like it. The best outcome for any of us to live a life that we like living, that we want to,
Keep
live a
living.
life that we like,
Yeah.
is to work together.
That's the only way to really do it, is to live a functional life with DID. You have to work together.
Yeah,
You
you
have
have to be
to.
able to realize that you are more than one, and you have to, and that's just part of your existence. That's
You
part
are a
of how it
unit.
is.
You
Yeah.
are a unit. You function as a unit. There are components to the unit, but you function as a unit. There are different roles for different things, and it makes up a unit. It makes up what people perceive as one person. And yeah, everyone has their individual personalities and individual flaws and individual trauma and shit like that. But trauma is not an excuse to be a dick either.
You can't use your mental illness as an excuse to be an asshole.
Yeah, you can't use
Guess
your
what?
mental
If you
illness as a
yell at
weapon.
somebody, you still have to apologize for yelling at them.
Yeah, using your mental illness in general as an excuse for anything is just shitty and a red flag.
Hmm.
We've had experiences with people like that using BPD as an excuse for being shitty.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm autistic, so I'm being shitty. I'm just like, it's not an excuse.
Like that's you can say that as it's an explanation, not an
But
excuse. You still have to
it
take
never went
accountability for
further.
it.
It never went further than it was because of this, and nothing changed. So they were just using it as an excuse.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is you have to change your actions. You have to make the effort into becoming a better person. You have to make the effort
Hmm.
into working together. It's a tiring job being a
Yeah.
system. It's exhausting being a system because there's so much going on and so much you have to manage and all this shit. And that's why system managers exist. That's why gatekeepers exist. That's why people exist to manage those things. But it's everyone's job to reflect on the system. Like, your actions reflect on the system as a whole.
Yeah.
So if you do something shitty, people are going to think the system is shitty. And it's like, literally not taking system accountability is a bannable offense in one of my Discord servers.
Yeah. As it should be, because again, that is a huge red flag. That is, it's it's one of the things why people, I know it's a reason why people like get fake claimed a lot, is because a lot of people that fake it do it because a lot of people that have come out that they faked DID, they say that they did it so that they could get out of doing things, so that they could like use it as a scapegoat.
And that's ridiculous.
And it's like it's not a scapegoat. It's not like, oh, having DID isn't this magical. Oh, if one of the altars in our system does something, then that means that I don't, if I didn't personally do it, then I don't have to deal with it. Like, no, sorry, guess what? This disorder comes with a lot of not fun things, and one of those not fun things is having to take accountability for what other altars do.
Yeah, you have to take accountability for shit you didn't do. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, we got used to that as a kid because we were like the scapegoat our sisters blamed. So
Mm-hmm.
we would just take accountability for shit we didn't do all the time. And so we're used to that. But it's just like, our parents never believed that it was actually me that did it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it was like a whole thing. Because they're like, yeah, sure, Carter did it. Um, but it's like, but I always took accountability for my actions. Literally, like, as a kid, I would go up to my parents and, like, tell them what I did. Like, I was like a young kid. I would just tell them what I did and, like, suggest punishments.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I was like 3, and I was like, I'll clean the kitchen for a week. And my mom was like, you're 3, you can't clean the kitchen for a week.
Oh yeah, I remember one of our very distinct memories is, we were a little goody two shoes our whole life. We
Oh,
were
yeah,
very
same.
much, if someone tells us to do something, if an adult tells us to do something, we'll do it. Yes, yeah, like goody two shoes, never broke any rules.
Yes, sir,
And
no, ma'am.
I once, our brother called us a name, and I went to tell our parents about it. We went to tell our parents about it. And we were crying and bawling, and we were like, he called us the W word. And my parents were like, what word are you can listen. You can say the word just once. It's okay. And we're like, what is the word? I can't say it.
What was the word?
I don't remember.
Oh, W word. Would it just be weird? I don't know,
I
man.
straight up don't remember. I think even in that moment, I couldn't remember what the word was.
That's a mood.
Because it was one of those moments where we kind of like
You just acknowledged it was a bad word, and we're just like,
flash into consciousness.
yeah, that's fair.
So there was a lot of, oh, so weird. As a kid, we had pretty stereotypical like memory blackouts
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, and then it just stopped happening, and we're like, okay,
Yeah, we had
this is just how brains work.
by sixth
Memories
grade.
are supposed to be like this, correct?
By
Yes.
sixth grade, I was like, I don't remember my entire first grade year, and they were like, well, you forget memories from your childhood. I was like, no, I don't remember my entire first grade year. And my parents were like, that's normal. And I'm like, it's not normal, guys. And then at 16, I was like, I can't remember like most of anything from my childhood, guys. And they were like, that's normal. And I'm just like, guys. And then when I got diagnosed with DID, I was just like,
Like, hey, yeah, I was when we were like first trying to tell our parents about our diagnosis. I think even before we knew we were diagnosed, we knew about the system, but we didn't know that we were diagnosed yet. Um, we were like, we're in the process of possibly getting diagnosed for this, and because we don't have, say, 75% of our childhood memories, and they're just like, not remembering your childhood is normal, and I just. Both of my parents had traumatic childhoods. I know this for a fact.
yeah, so did mine.
Oh, it's normal to not.
Are you sure about that?
It's normal to experience this. Mother, you don't think mental health is real. It's not normal. Go to therapy.
I wish my parents went to. Well, one of my parents went to therapy. I wish my other two parents went to therapy.
I wish I could get my parents to go to therapy, but there's absolutely no way either of my parents will ever go to therapy.
The one who went to therapy is dead. The one who I really wanted to go to therapy is dead. Uh, so, too late for that, but there's still one that I'm trying to get to go to therapy.
Well, hey, if they were right and the Mormon afterlife is real, and if they're getting their therapy. If they're sitting in spirit prison, they're getting their therapy.
That's fair. Nah, I've communicated with both of them on this plane, so I don't think they were correct. I honestly just think we walk the earth. Because with my experience with ghosts and shit, I honestly just think we walk the earth. Like, from what I've heard, this is a whole tangent. From what I've heard, it's like Insidious. Like those movies where there's like that other like you can like astral project into like the weird realm that like goes different places and the doors and shit. Yeah. I've heard it's like kind of like that, but you're still walking the earth. You're still in places of the earth, times of the earth. But it's still like a weird in between place. But like, I'm pretty sure Insidious is based on a true story anyway, because it has Elizabeth Warren in it. And Elizabeth Warren was a real person, but that's a whole tangent. That's a whole tangent. That's one of the only horror movies we actually enjoyed. But that's a whole other tangent that we're not going to go on. We'll just talk to you about that later. But it's like fucking when you don't take accountability, it's like
you're making things harder for other systems also when you don't take accountability.
It's like a singlet who doesn't take accountability. It makes it harder for everybody else. You're just like, okay, why is this bitch not taking accountability for his actions? It pisses you off. And why are you not taking accountability for your actions? It's pissing me off. Even if the individual alter doesn't take accountability for your actions, someone in the system needs to.
Yeah.
and address it with that altar. Like, because we have altars that are absolute assholes, and we will
Yeah,
admit
same.
that. And like some that are specifically meant to scare us and shit like that, and meant to like be very brooding and very like menacing and shit like that. And so they're meant to be that way, but they still wouldn't harm anyone. That's just like a thing I want to say. But like they don't take accountability for their own actions, but someone else in the system does. Jason does sometimes. He's just the worst about it. And we wanted to get him to come out and talk about it because it would have been funny.
Like, go on and tell everybody why taking system accountability is important.
Just do it. I keep sliding down to my chair because my freaking basketball shorts are slippery. But because like there have been times where we've like yelled at people, thrown things, other shit, like, and we just had to suck it up and say, okay, we did that. I'm sorry we did that. We regret that we did that. That one altar may not regret that he did it, but
We as a whole regret that it happened.
yeah. It's like, because you, with system accountability, it's like it's empathy for your other system members and your people around you. You see what the actions of the other altar did to someone around you, and it's just having fucking empathy.
Or even here's a little fun tip for those of you out there like us who have issues with little to no empathy. Sometimes you gotta fake it.
You gotta fake it till you make it. I had to learn
You
how to
gotta
do
fake
empathy.
it till you make it.
I didn't know what empathy was. I had to learn empathy, sympathy, all that shit.
Like that's a thing that people struggle with, guys, is that
Especially when they're
sometimes
on the
people have
spectrum.
low empathy. And guess what? If you have low empathy, you still can't use that as an excuse to be an asshole. Still got to be
Yeah.
a good person. Sorry.
I know people with ASPD that are great fucking people. Because they learned cognitive empathy. Because they learned it. It's not impossible to learn. Like, as a kid, I would have, like, no empathy for other people. And then now I'm, like, kind of the opposite. I'm, like, hyper aware of what I'm doing to other people. So it's like, I need to find a good middle ground.
Low empathy is something that we have struggled with for years. For our whole life, honestly.
Yeah.
Is that we just, for some reason, have a hard time empathizing with others. And, like, and that's been a constant issue. Like,
I think part of why we have introjects of people is because our parents are always like, put yourself in their shoes. And I'm just like, oh, fuck. I think that's why we have so many introjects.
Probably.
We were just trying to learn empathy.
I wouldn't be surprised.
We have a lot of like family member introjects for those who don't know. Hold on. Uncle, dad, mom, sister, grandma. We have 7 family members in our system.
We have some alters who started as introjects of family members, but over time morphed into their own individualized altar.
In a lot of the cases for us, we don't see them a lot or they're unalived. So I don't know if they're actually going to do that. Because they're like...
Because, like, we have...
They're like, we're free to be our people. And I'm like, you're not. Please stop.
like, It's kind of weird.
I'm like, it's weird. I fucking hate it here.
Like, we have people who Amelia started as an interject of our mom. Hannah, or not Hannah, what's her name? Frankie started as an interject of our cousin. Nora started as an interject of our grandmother. Like, we have, and I'm sure there's others.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the top ones, those are the main ones I know about.
Right.
Where they started as an interject of a family member and then just sort of
the two interjects
over
of our
time
mom want to fuse, and I want to see what that would do.
Super mom.
Because they're just like, one is like mom in her 30s and one is like mom in her 40s. So would it just make mom when she's 35? It just evens out. Is that how this works? I'm fucking around. That's absolutely not how this works. I have no control over this. I don't know what they're going to make. It would be really funny if they did make that, though.
That'd be very funny. And you know, sometimes the brain goes, you know what would be funny? I feel like that's how sometimes
what would be funny? A third interject of your mother. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, so it's not a hard concept, guys. It's really not. We keep going on tangents, but it's fine. We do this every episode because we both have fucking ADHD.
Again, that's the fun of the whole point of this podcast is that
we're two
idiots with dissociative disorders.
We're two idiots.
We're gonna forget what we're doing.
We're just two idiots. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, it's not a hard
bit. I'm not gonna do that bit. It's fine. I was gonna go. So the Mets. Just like, but like I know nothing about baseball, so it would have just been the Mets.
I love it when the Mets come out and start metting all over the place.
What? What the foot? What the foot?
As like Morbius, like the best part of Morbius.
It's Morbin time.
That's when he goes, it's Morbin time, and starts morbing all over the place. I like it when the Mets come out and they go, it's Mettin' time, and start metting all over the place.
I can't stand you. Oh my god. So
This is what happens when this is what happens when Tumblr is allowed to create our sense of humor.
Vine created mine. Why do you think?
And we're still on.
Someone
Tumblr
just
to
went
this
live
day
with the notification. It's Morbin time. I shit you not.
What great timing!
Thank you, Platypus. Thank you, A Platypus. I love you so much, Platy. He's a huge streamer, so I'm not even shouting him out at this point. I'm just name dropping. A Platypus on stream?
Yeah, but again, to try and bring it around to topic.
But yeah, it's not a hard concept.
It's pretty easy to do, actually, to take accountability for your system's actions, because it's guess what?
Yeah.
Again, you're in the same body. You kind of got it. Like, sorry, tough luck. You got to deal with it. It's kind of Again, this being a system is not a fun experience. This is not a joyride. You gotta deal with shit, and one of the something that you gotta deal with is taking accountability.
And like, like another thing is like, our alters spent $75 at Walmart. We had to deal with that. We still don't have a lot of money because of that. Because our alters were like, let's go spend $75 at Walmart.
Right, my alters, we've been eating out a lot lately because anytime we're hungry, someone is just like, "Oh, we've got some a little bit of extra money. We can afford to just go out and eat." Yeah, how about instead of that, we buy fucking groceries, guys?
I felt that. We do that too.
But it's
Um,
but Taco Bell on the way to work.
but McDonald's on the way to therapy. I felt that. Because we're trying to like schedule one day to like eat out a week, so we don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to be like, okay, we can only eat out on days where we go to therapy because we have to drive an hour. So we're like, okay, we can get something to eat on our way, or on the way wherever, on our way back, whatever, depending on the time. So we're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we can do it those days, and then we decided to go up to our family's house an hour away this weekend and spend money we didn't have on food because we were like, oh, we're gonna go stay up there for 2 days for Father's Day. We don't have the gas money. It's $5 a gallon, guys.
Guys, gas is expensive right now.
God, gas is expensive.
Everyone's just kind of been living on this mindset of we've we've made it by with less money, so it's fine. And it's like, guys,
Gas is
it's
$5 a gallon.
it's
The price
guys.
of living has gone up, guys. We've gotten by on less money. My rent is $150 more than it used to be, guys.
Oh, we made it by when we were paying the full amount of rent instead of half. Now that we have a roommate, guys, we still have other bills, and
Yeah.
we weren't making it by that. We had to ask for money from our parents a lot, guys. Guys, we're trying to be self-sufficient here.
I felt that because I feel like I'm gonna have to ask my grandparents for money.
I don't like having to ask for money. It's
Me
not
either.
fun.
It's not fun. But I
Stream cut out. No.
fuck.
Fuck.
Why did internet go burr?
Eat your internet.
Oh no, it still says 48 minutes, so it should be continuous in the VOD.
So hopefully, hello, woo.
You might have to refresh the page.
Oh yeah, we're still live. Okay.
We still should be good. Sorry, internet
Yay,
went
technical
burr.
difficulties. Woo.
What I was trying to say was, I don't even remember what I was trying to say. System accountability just needs to happen. That's what I was trying to say. And fucking, like, it can be as small as, it can be as small as a Discord thing. It can be as big as people spending money they're not supposed to. It can be as big as, like, harming yourself or someone else. It can be that big. But you have to take accountability for it.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, it says a minute now.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're gonna have to download both VODs and edit them together.
That's fine. It's all Daijobu. I can work my editing magic.
But we'll just, any closing thoughts?
That again, it's important to take accountability for the actions of the system as a whole, because
it's not just you here, baby.
It's part of being a system. It's just one of the things that you have to deal with. It's one of the things that comes with being a system is that you have to deal with taking accountability for the system as a whole.
Absolutely. Not taking system accountability is red flag AF.
It's like if you don't take system accountability, it enables abuse. If you don't enforce system accountability,
it does.
because not saying that, systems are, inherently going to, oh, go out and abuse you, but that doesn't, like, just because it's not the majority doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. And you should be careful around systems who don't want to take system accountability.
Yep, I agree.
Because as a system, you have to take accountability.
Yep, I agree. All right. Well, have a good night, y'all.